Hi, how are you? Welcome to Saturday, August 13th. I am recording a very quick screencast. Very quick because I only have the free version of the software, so I can't go too long. So, what you need to know. You need to know that I just uploaded to the week 7 module a file called, I think the link I changed the name of to something like, hey, look at this. And it is a collection of highlights that have come in over the past week or two. Basically, it is, for some people, it's just some odd end pictures from the scavenger hunt assignment. For some people, it's pictures out of the Order Out of Chaos assignment. And for some people, it is pictures from the prompt reply number 1 assignment, which means it could be from a handful of different prompts, right? I feel limited in terms of just the time that we have and the way that we can spend it, so I'm not going to talk about them in detail, other than to say good work. And here in this PDF are basically a bunch of pictures that I pulled out because I see you seeing and executing the ideas that we talk about in the various assignments and the things that have come up in class. So good work, nice, well seen details and storytelling. Look at this great juxtaposition here with this Lewis and Clark mural, but still also the modern world in there as well. Anyway, I'm impressed with what you guys are doing, and I want you to keep doing it. And I only wish that we had, I feel like we're kind of up against such a time crunch. I would love to just spend class time talking through what we have here, but I also feel like we have such a limited amount of class time. And I know that you are overwhelmed and trying to cram in the last 2 weeks. So anyway, look through these and note how strong they are and feel jealous by the work of your classmates, and let that inspire you to go kick ass on the final assignments. Let's see. There we go. Now, what we definitely need to do is we need to review the week 4 attendance participation tech quiz. I am actually looking at my phone, by the way, because, oh shit, I forgot to start it. All right, 10-minute timer is going. I think the video has a max of 15 minutes. Okay, so there you are, walking in the woods with your dog, and you realize that she's got a rat in her mouth. Totally happened to me. You frame and focus, and your light meter tells you that you make a proper exposure with a combination of a 60th at f11 for your shutter speed and aperture. But your photo ends up being a little blurry because the dog's moving and the rat's still squiggling. What do you switch your settings to in order to freeze motion? So the key is, you're at a 60th and f11. Let's pull up our full stop chart here, and I am going to, whoops, brush tool, bloop, 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 and let's create a copy layer. Why did that not work? Oh, now I have a spinning wheel. There we go. Okay. 60 and F11. Boom. There's the connector. Oh my gosh. Now I got this coming in. 60 and F11. Now, what's the problem? The problem is it's squiggly. The photo's a little blurry because the moving stuff is too quickly moving to pull this off, so you need a faster shutter speed. The faster shutter speeds are the larger numbers for the shutter speed because they're all fractions of a second. So 125th, 250th, 500th, and 1000th, right? All of these are faster shutter speeds. So if we look at the options that we have all of those. and different apertures that correspond to them. So let's just go back to our full stop chart and notice if we come to 125, we then would come up a 1. So remember, when you have a correct exposure, if you bring it down on one side, you got to come up on the other side. 1 stop less light, 1 stop more light to achieve the right balance, right? So 60th at f11, that's a bad way to do that. Let's change the color. 60th at f11 is the same as 125th at f8 is the same as 250th at 5/6 is the same as 500th at f4 is the same as 1000th at f2.8. So we just have to look at those. 1000 at f2.8, that's it. That's the fastest one right there. That still maintains the correct balance. This one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. And when I say, yeah, none of those do. Next, there you are trying to photograph the exceptionally beautiful dinner you've made. It looks like a birthday cake, but it's actually meatloaf with an outer layer of mashed potatoes that look like frosting. Your camera is set to 400, 60th. Your aperture is wide open at f2, but the light meter still tells you -2. So, again, let's check out that full stop chart. Bloop. Let's just trash that. Let's start a new one. So 60, f2. That is what you're currently set to, but your light meter is saying -2. You're 2 stops underexposed. So what do you do to solve the problems here? Add gravy? Look, we've talked about this in class. Obviously, you would never eat meatloaf and mashed potatoes without gravy. I mean, come on, get real here. Raise the ISO 2 stops to 1600. Yeah, that would also work. Use a flash or bring additional light in. Yeah, that would also work. Use a slow shutter speed to a 15th of a second, but you'll need a tripod. Yeah, that would also work. So all of these are correct answers. Which ISO setting gives you an image with the best image quality, least digital noise? Lowest. Always the lowest. If your camera at its top quality setting gives you an image that's 6,000 wide by 4,000 high, I think almost all of you got that right. 24 megapixels. It's just you multiply those two numbers, and that gives you the larger number that you divide by 1,000,000. Let's see. If you decrease the amount of blue in an image, what color is increased? This is where we go to Photoshop and remember the color balance. Your 3 primaries are RGB, red, green, blue, but it's important to know the opposites of those because that's also what you're controlling. If you want to control yellow, you actually adjust blue. So opposite of red is cyan, opposite of green is magenta, opposite of blue is yellow. Bloop, blue, yellow. What is the standard resolution and file format for transmitting images over the web? Web 72, JPEG, low resolution, and a compressed small version. Let's say that you are photographing a landscape and want to emphasize the relationship between the foreground and the background elements. You meter with your camera at a 60th and find that you get a proper exposure at f11. What shutter speed aperture setting should you switch to in order to get the deepest depth of field possible? Let's bring her back. Let's see. Let's kill these. Okay, 60. f11 is a proper exposure, but you want the deepest depth of field possible. Deepest depth of field is controlled by your choice of aperture. The higher the number, the smaller the hole, the deeper the depth of field. So in this chart, f22 is the smallest aperture you have available to you. That is 2 stops less light in your choice of aperture, so you would need to slow the shutter speed down 2 stops. 15th of a second at f22. 15th at f22. Remember though, you would need a tripod for that. When using Photoshop adjustment layers to edit your images, which step should you start with? Brightness. Okay, the thing is you kind of got to get it in the right ballpark anyway, because if it's too bright, if it's too dark, it's going to affect the way you see color. There we go. That was it. There's the whole quiz. Now, the other thing I want to quickly go through is the test. Now, I'm not going to answer every question, but I want to just sort of give you a quick rundown about what this test is going to look like. I'm going to post the test. I'm going to publish it, and you get to take it twice. That way it can stick in your head. Most common file format that does not compress image files. Does not compress. We're only using 2 file formats. I wonder which one it would be. The compressed JPEG or Lightmeter. Okay, so this one, I'm not going to answer this one right here, but this is going back to what we were just talking about with the full stop chart. Question 3. Do you want to resample when making your image size smaller in order to make a web version? Which ISO setting gives you an image with more noise. We kind of just covered that a little bit. 5 decisions inherent in the photographic process, the 5 fingers. I wonder if you even paid attention to those or did those the first week when I asked you to. What color cast is typical of incandescent or tungsten lighting? That's related to white balance. What camera adjustment can you make in order to compensate for the color cast of incandescent or tungsten light? This is a camera adjustment. Okay, that one we just talked about. That one we just talked about. That one goes back to the scavenger hunt assignment, so we talked about that there. Why am I doing this? I don't think I need to do this. I was thinking that maybe there was stuff here that I should cover, but we've kind of, yeah, did that. Yeah, kind of covered that. Then there's some identification. All right, I tell you what, I'm not going to cover any more of those. So what you need to know is that I'm going to publish the test, and that test does include camera things, it does include Photoshop things, and it does include identification from the list and the connecting the dots videos that went with it. The one other thing, I'll send it in the announcement when I publish this module, but what I also want you to know is that tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday, August 15th, and the following Monday, August 22nd, in lab time, all we are going to do is print in the darkroom. That does not have a separate grade. So if you need to prioritize, there's my timer, if you need to prioritize getting stuff done and don't come in, okay, I understand. You know, here's a chance. But I'm going to be there to answer any questions, etc. And also just help people print if they want to print. Okay. Hope you're having a good weekend. Take care. See you Monday or not.